Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are physically located. Welcome to our today's webinar that will be introducing to you our brand new version Flowmon 11, and it will be delivered to you by myself, Arthur Kane, and my special guest, Pavel Minarik. Hi, Pavel.
Hi, everybody. Welcome on the webinar.
Unfortunately, we cannot be together today, so you're calling from the headquarter office. I'm calling from home, but I'm sure we will manage just like we are used to from the last few months. The session will be recorded and you will be receiving a link to the recording in a couple of days after the session ends. And feel free to send your questions throughout the session and we will try to answer them as soon as we can. Without further ado, let me share my screen and jump into the presentation. Very few slides that we have for today before we jump into live demo. So Flowmon 11 is now a stable version of our flagship product for network performance monitoring and diagnostics, and it brings 4 main benefits. Firstly, you might know that our portfolio consists of multiple products. Flowmon is a modular system, and we try to integrate these modules as best as we can, and this is a trend of last year or more. And on our path to unified user interface, we have now made sure that dashboard and reporting capabilities are shared across all the modules. So it'll be much easier for you to see one single picture and much easier for you to control from single point of view. We have been working on delivering better understanding of the information that you see on the dashboard. And with that, we actually came up with new high-level dashboard, widgets on the dashboard that give you overview of the main sort of deliverables or indicators, if you will. We are making sure to constantly try to reduce mean time to resolve. The main way how we do it is through presets, and presets is a concept that enables you to choose your dashboards view from predefined database depending on the use case. And see the full picture on a few clicks without the need of creating your own dashboards, and thus reducing the time needed to deploy and start using Flowmon. And Flowmon has been used by many companies who have more complicated structures where they need to control accesses to different portions of data, and also used by managed services providers who need to make sure that their tenants and customers are completely separated on the system. And we've spent or invested into being able to better manage rights of those people, of those tenants on Flowmon, and even better separate them logically and help customers with complicated environments to control them better. So to go a little bit more into the detail, dashboards, as I mentioned, is centralized for all modules. You can choose from predefined tabs. We have tabs or let's say dashboards created for network operations, security operations, for application performance, and those are the basic ones. There are every dashboard is divided into widgets, and on those widgets you can see information from high level that are represented by the widgets on the left upper corner, the new high-level widget, and you can go deeper into statistics or numbers or even listed top statistics. It is now fully customizable, so it means you can have all widgets wider and tighter, and you can choose from actually different layouts of the dashboard, so that you can personalize it and have it like more easier and adapted to your needs. Reports are very much now in line with dashboards. They have pretty much the same logic. You can actually today create report actually from a dashboard tab by simply clicking and adding it into reports. And reports again support all modules, and because they look and feel the same as dashboards, it will be much easier for you to navigate through them. And with advanced options for scheduling, you can make sure that you stay up to date even without logging into the user interface. Presets can be considered sort of a marketplace of predefined dashboards. On this screenshot, you can see a few examples, but Pavel will momentarily actually scroll through those presets. He promised to actually install some of them and show them directly. But the principle is you choose a use case, you apply the preset, and then you enjoy the data views that you didn't have to spend any time actually creating and defining yourself. So without further ado, let me, Pavel, give you the presenter rights, and you will now go into Flowmon itself to show everything that I talked about in theory, but now from the first side. All right, it's yours, Pavel.
Okay, thank you, Arthur, for the introduction to major features. So hopefully everybody can see my screen now, and let's go directly to the dashboard. On the Flowmon homepage, it's called Dashboard and Reports, as it includes all this functionality integrated. So if you look at the screen, you will find different piece of information organized, as Arthur mentioned, into dashboard tabs and into widgets. I will guide you through this Flowmon deployment, which is actually running in a small but real environment. And I will explain you individual widgets, and I will also explain you the logic why I have built the dashboard that way. Then we will go into reports, and we will finish by applying some presets as Arthur promised. So first thing that I want to see is definitely some status, some overview. For that purpose, we have created a set of new widgets that will indicate you in form of like traffic lights. They will indicate you from green to red that you might have some issues that you need to pay attention to. So first, new status widget, it's called connected flow sources. And that's actually essential to understand if you are properly monitoring your environment. So if you don't have the data, the rest of the results is incomplete, invalid, and so on. So this widget will indicate you if all the probes, routers, flow sources in general are properly responding and providing you data to the system. Another example of traffic lights widget is performance of all your applications. This widget is actually taking the data from application performance monitoring module, and it's visualizing so-called APM index, So it's showing how well your applications are performing with respect to defined SLA. Next, what we have is a new type of widget that is showing performance metrics or metrics in general. So in this case, this is a more detailed view on a specific metric. We are looking again at APM data. We are looking at the application performance index for ERP system. So we can see that we are fulfilling the SLA pretty well. And we can also see specific metrics like average response time or percentiles. So we immediately understand the key performance values of that specific application. Another example of a status widget is security status. So this widget is actually receiving the input data from ADS, from the anomaly detection system, and it's showing the most important priority. That's the visualization. So now we are in red because we have one critical priority event, and we can also see how many additional events we have from the anomaly detection system. Of course, all these data are with respect to selected time frame where you can scale from 1 hour to days or even weeks. There are also traditional widgets that you are used to. So we have a traffic chart showing you traffic in bits per second, also visualizing performance metrics and summarizing all those metrics into tables. And of course, there are top statistics. So next to security status, I have placed a widget called event overview by type. So I can see more details on the events that have been detected in terms of their priority, type, and number of occurrences. And as you have seen recently, the dashboard is refreshing on a regular basis. So the information is continuously up to date. Arthur mentioned also predefined tabs. So there is a built-in view that you can activate very easily for network operations. On this view, it's again a summary of connected flow sources, visualization of all the traffic that you are collecting, plus some more widgets that we find very useful, like alerts that are defined in the system. So you can see the status, if the alert has been triggered or not. You can see number of devices in your networks and how this number of devices is changing over time. And of course, you can get your well-known top statistics like top 10 IPs according to amount of transferred data, number of flows, and so on. The customization is very easy. So for any widget, you can say, I would like to edit that widget, and this is the way how it goes. So first, you need to select the source of the data, so these Flowmon modules. Then you select which specific chapter that contains the data will be visualized, and depending on the content, you can choose from different ways how you want to visualize the data. So let's say that now I want to change from this traditional view into some new type of widget for showing performance metrics. And you see what happens. The same data is now interpreted in this performance bar, which is focusing on retransmissions in the network. As retransmissions, that's something that really affects the user experience. So we are calculating an index where 100 means there are no retransmissions in your environment, which is not likely to be happening. And this index is reduced based on number of observed retransmissions in your network. In addition to that, it shows you metrics like average round trip time or average server response time and amount of transfer data. So that's just another different way how you can visualize the same data. There are also customization options in terms of the content of the traffic charts or tables. So if I do this customization again, I can actually influence the time series that will be included in the chart. So let's say I want to visualize retransmissions over time. So I will select the secondary axis, and I want to customize the table. So I want to add, in addition to these basic metrics, I want to add average server response time, average round trip time, and retransmissions. And when I do that, you see how the widget is immediately adjusted to my settings. The security operations widget is taking the data from the anomaly detection system, and it's showing different views on the detected events. So in addition to statistics, you can see latest 10 events. You can see event occurrence by type, by priority, and that's completely customizable. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how I will add a new predefined tab to my dashboard. So I'm going to say create new dashboard, and I want to choose from predefined. And I will take something which is missing in my deployment. So I will do now application, and I will select intranet application. So this is just a simple customization that I do, or simple settings that I do on this predefined dashboard tab, and I say create. And now the dashboard is being populated with the requested data. So as you can see, this is a new dashboard tab that's very specific to showing application performance monitoring data from the intranet application. It starts with the application performance index and additional metrics like average round trip, average application response time, percentiles, number of transactions, and so on. It gives you overview of error code. So again, very useful information to be placed on the dashboard. It gives you an indication of slowest transactions that have the most important impact on the application and that you potentially can improve. And it gives you some additional metrics from the APM module. So this is a way how quickly and how easily you can create a new dashboard tab using predefined options. It's also useful to create some specific views on your network environment. So in this case, I have multiple network segments that correspond the local network with the users. There is a DMZ, there is a VPN segment. So you can see the traffic in individual network segments. And what's next, you can also visualize the number of active IPs, active devices in those specific networks. How you can do that? It's again about the customization of the widget. So I'll show you the details of active devices showing number of clients in VPN segment. And another customization option that's available. It's called data settings. So as you can see, depending on the data source, you can use some filtering. So in this case, I'm just showing clients which are from the VPN network segment. And I'm also customizing how devices will be identified, because in VPN segment, everybody has a MAC address of the VPN concentrator of the router. So I'm not able to identify individual clients by MAC addresses. I need to identify them by IP addresses. Plus, I have customized the widget name. So this is a way how I can get different labels to those widgets showing basically same data, just pre-filtered and adjusted into the way I want to have it on the dashboard. So that's another example of customization that you can do. Next, I want to show you is something that was created automatically. By automatically, I mean by application of a preset. So in this specific environment, we are using Office 365. So we want to understand what is the performance of individual Office 365 applications, what is the, let's say, bandwidth utilization needed for those applications. So you can visualize that information in the traditional way, as well as you can use this performance metrics like retransmission index, which is again very useful metric to understand if the network is transmitting the packets properly, if there is no need to retransmit the packets, which will influence the user experience. And you can see individual clients in the network, and you can see their performance metrics that they are experiencing when these users work with Office 365 applications. So for this dashboard, I have no need to do any manual configuration. Everything was created by using a specific preset. So I think that's more or less what I wanted to cover on the dashboard. And let's move to reports. So I'll start on this dashboard tab. So when I have created this specific dashboard, I also might be in a need of creating the same report. So I don't need to do it manually. I just go to edit dashboards and I say, create me a report from widgets on this dashboard, which means that Flowmon will pre-fill a new report for you, and all the current widgets and their settings is placed in the report. So I say create report, and I can go directly to view the report. And this is pretty much what you would expect. So these individual chapters or individual widgets are placed in the report that you can export into PDF. And as it is a report, you would like to schedule it. So you go to scheduling the report. And as you can see, you can create as many schedules for reports as you want. So this is the name of the schedule. You obviously need to have some recipients of that schedule. It might be users defined over the system, or it might be also another user. So you just put an email address there and that's it. You provide an email subject and you can continue to the scheduling part, where you can select the frequency. You can say when the report should be started or when the reporting should finish. It's kind of flexible, because you can say just give me 5 reports and then it's done. And I want PDF, I want CSV. So you can see there are plenty scheduling options that will hopefully fit in the needs of any reporting or scheduling requirements. Of course, if I'm not happy with the report as it is and I want to customize it, I do edit report and I can add some new chapters. So I can add active devices, for example, which does not make that much sense into this report, but I can do it. And of course, I can customize the chapter. And as you can see, the customizations is exactly the same like when you customize the widget on the dashboard. So very flexible and easy to use because you don't need to do anything else. It's completely same as what you do on the dashboard. So that's pretty much about reports. And let's go to the last part. So last part is presets. This is kind of a marketplace where you can find all the use cases or all the built-in configurations, if you will, and these presets will actually do all the configuration on Flowmon side for you. So you just need to select the use case that you are interested in. We do have a couple of categories, so you can look for specific cloud services or cloud applications, or you can analyze specific application protocols. So let's say that I'm interested in understanding more about encrypted traffic in my network. So I go for the TLS preset, where I have a description which actually summarize me what is going to happen, what kind of information I can expect. There are some screenshots, so you'll see what will be created in the system. And if you are interested in the technical details, so the preset explains what is going to be created, what kind of filters are needed for that, what profiles will be created. So this is a technical description because we don't want the system to be a black box. So if you are interested, you can get to those details. So what I do now, I will select the preset and I will go to installing it. First step is just to confirm that I'm going to install the preset for TLS, and I continue to users. As there are some parts of the preset that are user specific, so dashboard and dashboard tabs, for example, you just need to confirm the users. For those users, the configuration will be applied. So I will just keep this one, administrator, continue to more technical settings that I by default do not need to touch. So I will create a shadow profile for the TLS data. I want the system to recalculate 1 day back, so I will see the data immediately. And as a source profile, I will use this all sources, which means all the data that I have in the system. And the last step is just to confirm what I want to install from that preset. You can technically, if you don't want to create a report, you don't need to enable that option. That's basically up to you what scope from the preset you want to apply. So I go to install, and now the system will go through the preset, through all the configuration that's included in the preset, and is applying that configuration in the background. So we need to wait a couple of seconds till this operation is completed, and hopefully in a few moments we will see the result. This view is just to track the progress of the configuration that is performed in the background. Chapters will take some moments because I said recalculate the data 1 day back. In fact, you don't need to do it. If you say I don't want to recalculate, it will just create the settings from now on. It will not populate with historical data. Okay, so we're done. And now it means that I should have a new tab called TLS, all sources, which indicates the original profile that was being used. And as you can see, these are different versions of the TLS protocol that are being observed in my environment. Also different applications using those TLS versions, and there are also some top statistics, for example, for TLS version 1.0, which is kind of obsolete. So basically you can check if your servers are speaking those obsolete TLS protocols, and you can fix that with the administrators of those servers. And now you might ask, I want to do some more detailed analysis. So what's next? You just take this menu and say more info, which means that you will get a drill down to that specific view, to that specific data set that you can now work with, that you can analyze. So if you do that on the data from the monitoring center, you get to the monitoring center to that specific profile when you can run your queries. If you do that on the data from ADS, you will get to ADS and so on. So that's it. That's where I want to finish today. So I'm happy to answer any questions if we have some in the chat.
Thank you, Pavel. So one of the questions is, let me just open it so I can read the full message. Hi, can we edit titles of a report to include the corporate logo for corporate distribution? And I reckon, Pavel, that this is actually related to one of the benefits that I mentioned at the beginning, which is the tenant management for MSPs, because white labeling and adding logos is one of the things that MSPs want. So don't be afraid to cover this a little bit broader than just answering this.
There are two different topics. First one is just adjusting the logos and graphics in the reports. And that's not something related to MSP specifically. That's a general available option. So if you go to, that's obviously dedicated to administrator only. So if you go to configuration center, to reports and branding, you can do this customization. You can change the logo, you can change the color scheme, you can also adjust the graphics. So this is an option that's available to anybody. Then for managed service providers, there is a specific license type which will unlock you the option to adjust the branding in the user interface as well. But as I mentioned, this is only for managed service providers.
Thank you. Next question. These are visual options. What automated notifications and or integrated with ticketing systems are available?
Yeah, this question goes beyond the scope of what we were showing today, but sure, we can answer that. In general, maybe it's useful to go for that to anomaly detection system. So there are different actions that you can do as a response to detected event. So as you can see, those actions include email notification, and there are different formats of those emails. So you can select from a proper format for humans, and you can see there are also specific formats for ticketing system for plain text processing. Then for integration with log management and SIEM systems, there is the option to send syslog messages, SNMP traps. You can in fact do automated packet capture, so triggered capture based on detected events. And last thing is custom scripts, where anybody is actually provided with the option to build a specific integration for his needs, for his third-party products, for his mechanism how to block IPs in the network, quarantine IPs, and so on. And we provide some selected sample integrations like with Fortinet, and we also provide sample scripts that you can use to start to build your own actions.
Next question: Is there any specific views or incidents for lateral movement, data exfiltration, data leakage, etc.?
Yeah, for that question, I very much recommend the recording from the webinar about a ransomware attack, where we've been showing the whole life cycle of the attack, starting with the initial access to that environment, lateral movement, data hoarding, data exfiltration, impact on the data. So we do have materials that cover this topic on the website, and we have a recording from the webinar that happened just, I think, 2 months ago. That's public available, and where you can see all those details that are available in the anomaly detection system.
I have forwarded a link to our YouTube channel to this video to the gentleman who sent the question. Thank you. Is there a way to clone widgets in a dashboard?
Not yet, and there will be much better functionality in Flowmon 11.1. There will be the option to clone the whole dashboard tabs, and there will be the option to share the dashboard tabs among the users. So then when you will create a new user, he does not need to start from scratch. He can actually use the whole tabs that have been already created in his specific environment. So this is coming.
Thank you. You actually answered another question that was, can I share dashboards with another user? So next question is, are dashboards supported in distributed architecture?
Yes, sure, they are. It's the same functionality as with a standalone system.
Thank you. And I'm not sure if I read this question well. Hopefully you'll be able to understand, Pavel. Any SOAR integrations, Demisto resilience?
Yeah,
can you see the question, or do you understand?
Yeah, I can. Demisto is a security automation platform. So it's basically a system that can orchestrate actions that you do as a response to a security incident. So to answer that question, no, there is no integration that's out of the box provided by us. But on the other hand, there is the mechanism in the system with this custom scripting capability, where you can trigger the API of Demisto or any system from Flowmon based on detected events. So you can build that integration. The system is ready for those custom actions, but we don't have the integration out of the box.
Okay, thank you. What kind of data is sent to Flowmon? The name suggests NetFlow.
True. The name Flowmon refers to flow monitoring, so it's not only NetFlow, it's anything which is a reasonable flow, so JFlow, IPFix, Huawei NetStream, CFlowD, of course NetFlow version 5, version 9, version 10. So any reasonable flow can be ingested into Flowmon. Plus, we do have our own network traffic monitoring appliances called the probes that will receive a copy of the network traffic, so that will receive full packet data, and that will generate IPFix with all the application metadata, network performance metrics that can do packet capture, that can do application performance monitoring. So to use all the features, all the product capabilities, we definitely recommend use of our probes. But it's not mandatory. It's obviously the system works with what is provided as a flow data, and that's basically normalized, stored in the database, and available for the user for visualization, reporting, analysis, and so on.
Including VPC, flow logs from cloud platforms, etc.
True.
Next question. Did you know that you can set the play speed on the webinars platform to 2 times faster? I haven't obviously read the question before I started because it just came through. Thank you for the hint, and thank you for wishing us a nice summer day. Wish you a nice summer day as well. And I think we came to the end of the questions. So thank you very much for staying with us and listening to the end on this nice summer day. And hope to see you soon on one of our next webinars. Thank you, Pavel, for your time.
Thank you, everybody, for watching us. Thank you, Arthur.
And stay well. Bye-bye.
Bye.